Used to think that healing meant the hurt would disappear, that one day I'd wake up different and the ghost would leave me here. I spent years chasing answers at the bottom of a glass, trying to outrun old memories that were built to last. Every mile down every highway, every town I left behind, still carried pieces of the battles I was fighting in my mind. Cause pain ain't like a stranger that eventually walks away. Sometimes it becomes a shadow that decides it's gonna stay. I fought it hard, I fought in vain, till I stopped running and faced the pain. I learned to carry the pain without letting it carry me. Learned to walk through the darkness and still believe. I learned to carry the pain like a scar beneath my skin, a reminder of the battles and the places that I've been. My father used to tell me, son, life ain't always fair. Some stones don't come to break you, they come to see who's there. I didn't understand those words back when I was young, before the losses and the heartbreaks, before the damage had been done. Now I hear them in the silence when the nights get long and cold, and every year I understand a little more what he told. Strength ain't found in comfort and peace, ain't free or rain. Sometimes wisdom only arrives after walking through the pain. The road keeps turning, the years keep rolling, and every burden keeps revealing. I learned to carry the pain without letting it carry me. Learn to walk through the darkness and still believe. I learned to carry the pain like a scar beneath my skin, a reminder of the battle and the places that I've been. The pain still rides beside me on certain nights alone, but it no longer controls the direction that I go. It's part of my story now, part of the man I became, and I finally made my peace with carrying the weight. I learned to carry the pain and somehow follow my strength, not because it disappeared, but because I went the length. I learned to carry the pain and keep moving anyway, cause the strongest hearts are built one hard mile a day. The sunrise breaks the horizon, the night releases its claim, and I keep walking forward, carrying the pain, but never carrying the shame. I grew up where the blacktop ended and the dust began to rise, where the trucks ran louder than the church bells under endless southern skies. Ain't no silver spoon story, ain't no mansion on the hill, just a boy with a stubborn heart heart and a mind nobody could kill. Learned more from gravel roads than I ever learned in school. Every scar became a lesson, every setback made me cruel. Now the city lights don't tempt me, and the fast lane ain't my style. I'd rather hear these old tires sing for another 100 miles. I wasn't born a king, didn't inherit a crown. I earned every inch of this road from this hard-earned ground. I'm the king of the dirt road, where the wild winds blow. Got dust on my boots and nowhere else to go. King of the dirt road, no castle made of stone, just freedom in my veins, and these back roads as my home. The sheriff knows my first name, the county knows my truck. Some folks call it reckless, I just call it luck. I've watched the sunrise break across 1,000 fields of gold, and heard stories from old-timers that never got told. The world keeps getting louder, everybody chasing fame, but out here in the country, the stars still know my name. No traffic, no pretenders, no mask left to wear, just an outlaw soul rolling through the midnight air. This road ain't always easy, but it's all I've ever known, and I'd rather ride forever than sit on a borrowed throne. I'm the king of the dirt road, where the wild winds blow. Got dust on my boots and nowhere else to go. King of the dirt road, no castle made of stone, just freedom in my veins, and these back roads as my home. Maybe I ain't rich, maybe I ain't famous, but I got sunset money came by, and freedom they can't take from us. Every fence line, every cornfield, every river bend I know reminds me why I never left the kingdom of this dirt road. I'm the king of the dirt road, still riding through the night, with a full tank and a rebel heart, chasing headlights through the pines. King of the dirt road, that's the life I chose. No chains around my spirit, just miles of open road. The moon shines on the gravel, the engine hums low. Long live the king of the dirt road. There's an old hill outside this town, where the wild grass bends and sways, where the wind moves through the cedar trees like whispers from forgotten days. I used to drive up there at midnight, when the world became too loud, to sit beside the silent storms and think about what time allowed. Some names faded from the marble, some stories vanished in the rain, but every cross and weathered marker still carried someone's pain. And every time I walked among them, beneath that moonlit flame, I felt something deep inside me, like the grave still called my name. The night grows colder, the shadows lean, and the past feels closer than it's ever been. The grave still calls my name from somewhere in the dark, reminding me that life is short and every second leaves a mark. The grave still calls my name like thunder to make me live again. I buried dreams upon that hillside, along with people that I knew, a younger version of myself, and all the things I thought were true. The reckless kid who feared nothing, the broken man who lost his way, the angry soul chasing vengeance. They're all buried there today. And maybe that's why I return to that lonely patch of earth, to remember every ending can become a second birth. The dead don't speak in words, at least not the way we do. But every grave has something it tries to teach to you. The wind keeps talking, the moon hangs low, and every lesson comes from letting go. The grave still calls my name from somewhere in the dark, reminding me that life is short and every second leaves a mark. The grave still calls my name, like thunder before the rain, not to pull me underground, but to make me live again. One day my own stone may stand here beneath the endless sky, and all that's left will be the stories people tell after goodbye. So I won't waste another sunrise living trapped inside my fears, 'cause every grave I've ever visited spent all of its tomorrows years ago. The grave still calls my name, but I no longer feel afraid. It's not a voice of darkness, it's a reminder not to wait. The grave still calls my name, and now I understand. The dead teach us how to live, if we're willing to listen. The first light touched the horizon, the stars faded from the frame. I drove away from that old hillside, but the lessons still remain. The clouds rolled in without warning, black as coal across the sky, the kind of storm that makes a man question every reason why. I've seen roads disappear beneath me, I've watched bridges wash away, I've had plans fall apart overnight, and dreams that couldn't stay. The wind kept screaming through the valley, like it knew my deepest fears, bringing back old memories from the hardest of my years. But I've learned something about storms after all this time alive. They can bend you toward the ground, but they can't decide if you survive. The thunder roars, the lightning strikes, but I ain't giving up without a fight. I'm still standing in the storm, with rain running down my face. Still standing in the storm, and I refuse to break. Every battle left a mark, every scar became my armor. I'm still getting stronger. There were nights I felt abandoned by luck, by faith, by hope. The kind of nights where every breath felt harder than before. I buried people that I love, watched opportunities fade, seen good hearts lose their way, as strong men lose their faith. But every time I hit the bottom, something pulled me back again. Maybe it was stubborn pride, maybe it was who I've always been. 'Cause quitting never fit me, and surrender ain't my style. I'd rather crawl through hell itself than stop before the final mile. The rain falls hard, the cold cuts deep, but a warrior's promise is one he'll keep. I'm still standing in the storm, with rain running down my face. Still standing in the storm, and I refuse to break. Every battle left a mark, every scar became my armor. I'm still standing in the storm, and I'm only getting stronger. Storms don't last forever, even when they feel that way. The darkest clouds eventually give room to brighter days, and every drop that's falling now will someday feed the ground, where stronger roots are waiting to grow from what I felt. I'm still standing in the storm, and I can finally see the storm wasn't sent to stop me, it was sent to shape me. Still standing in the storm, with my boots dug in the mud, still carrying the fire, still carrying the blood. Still standing in the storm, as the clouds begin to part. The weather tried to break me, but it only forged my heart. The rain slows down, the sun breaks through, and I keep moving forward like survivors always do. The highway stretches endless under a pale moonlight, white lines cutting through the darkness like memories through the night. Got one hand on the wheel and one eye on the road, but I swear I feel a presence every mile that I go. The passenger seat sits empty, at least that's what it seems. But some nights I catch a shadow, living somewhere in between. Maybe it's an old friend, maybe it's the man I used to be. Maybe it's every goodbye still riding here with me. The radio fades to static, the cold wind chills my skin, and I hear familiar whispers coming through the dark again. There's a ghost riding shotgun on every road I roam, a silent conversation between the lost and the known. Ghost riding shotgun through the midnight rain. I can't leave it behind me, 'cause it's running through my veins. like we never crossed the line. Now those days feel distant like smoke above a flame, but every mile marker knows I still remember every name. Some ghosts carry sorrow, some ghosts carry regret. Mine just keeps reminding me of things I can't forget. Not to haunt me forever, not to drag me down below, but to make sure I remember the places I've called home. The moon keeps climbing higher, the tides keep singing low, and somewhere in the darkness that ghost won't let go. There's a ghost riding shotgun on every road I roam, a silent conversation between the lost and the known. Ghost riding shotgun through the midnight rain. I can't leave it behind me, 'cause it's running through my veins. Maybe every soul carries one, a shadow from the past, a reminder that the moments we love were never meant to last. And maybe that's the reason the ghost still rides tonight, to help me keep moving forward. Instead of looking behind, there's a ghost riding shotgun, but I don't fear it anymore. It's just another chapter of the life I lived before. Ghost riding shotgun till the sunrise breaks the dark, a memory beside me and a fire inside my heart. The dawn appears ahead of me, the night begins to fade, but the ghost riding shotgun will always know my name. I wasn't raised by city lights or streets that never sleep. I was raised where the corn grows tall and promises run deep, where grandpa's troubles held together by rust, prayer and pride. And every lesson worth remembering came from a long dirt drive. I learned respect from hard hands and patience from the rain. Learn that every harvest season comes after months of pain. The radio played old country songs as the ties hummed along, and somewhere between those back roads I learned where I belong. The world keeps spinning fast, but some roots stay the same. No matter where life takes me, I carry where I came. I was raised by back roads, by gravel, dust and time, by small town dreams and county lines that shaped this heart of mine. Raised by back roads, where the wild winds blow. They taught me who I am, and they never let me go. Friday nights meant bonfires and trucks parked by the creek, where everybody knew your story before you'd even speak. We didn't have much money, but we had and folks would show up anytime when life got hard and rough. The city says success means more dollars in your hand, but where I come from, character is what defines a man. I've crossed a lot of highways, seen places far from home, but every road I've ever traveled led me back where I belong. 'Cause roots run deeper than fame or gold, and some kinds of wealth can never be sold. I was raised by back roads, by gravel, dust, and time, by small town dreams and county lines that shaped this heart of mine. Raised by back roads, where the wild winds blow. They taught me who I am, and they never let me go. These roads taught me loyalty. These roads taught me grit, how to keep moving forward when life don't seem to fit. They taught me how to stand tall when storms roll through the sky, and how to keep believing when dreams are running dry. I was raised by back roads, and that's something I'll defend, 'cause every mile behind me made me who I am. Raised by back roads, till the day I go. No matter where I'm headed, they're always taking me home. The dust settles behind me, the headlights softly glow, and I thank God every day I was raised by a back road. The hospital room was quiet, except for the hum of the lights. The strongest man I'd ever known looked smaller that night. His hands were worn from decades of fighting life head on, the same hands that taught me how to stay strong when things go wrong. He motioned me a little closer, said he didn't have much time. There were things he needed me to hear before he crossed that line. No grand speech, no famous words, just truth in his tired eyes, the kind of wisdom only earned after a hard-lived life. The room stood still, the clock moved slow, and every word he said cut deeper than I know. My father's last advice still echoes through my mind. Don't let anger steal your years, and don't leave love behind. My father's last advice still guides me through the night when the road gets dark ahead. His words become the light. He said, son, the world ain't fair, and it never claimed to be. But bitterness is a prison built with your own key. He said take care of your family when nobody else will, 'cause the measure of a man is how he climbs the hill. He said don't chase every dollar at the cost of your soul, 'cause money comes and money goes, but character stays whole. And then he smiled softly like a man finally at peace, knowing the lessons he carried would never truly leave. The tears rolled down, but I stayed strong, trying to memorize every word before he was gone. My father's last advice still echoes through my mind. Don't let anger steal your years, and don't leave love behind. My father's last advice still guides me through the night when the road gets dark ahead. His words become the light. Years have passed since that moment, but some things never fade. I hear his voice in the silence every time I lose my way. When life throws another storm, oh, the pressure starts to rise, I remember the strength I saw in my father's eyes. My father's last advice is worth more than gold. It's a compass for the journey as I grow old. My father's last advice still walks right by my side, a legacy of wisdom that time could never hide. The sunset falls across the farmland, the evening breeze drifts by, and I whisper, thank you for my father's last advice. My old man wore work boots, older than the truck he drove. Hands rough as gravel roads, heart heavy as a winter storm. He never talked about his battles, never told me where they'd been. Just carried silence on his shoulders like a second layer of skin. I remember sitting beside him on the porch fading with age, watching smoke drift through the sunset while he stared beyond the fields. There was pain behind his eyes even when he tried to smile, like a war nobody could see. It followed him for miles. He wasn't perfect, he never claimed, but everything I know came from that man. I'm the son of a broken man, raised by callous hands, learning how to keep moving when life don't go as planned. Son of a broken man, and proud of where I stand, 'cause sometimes the strongest lessons come from a broken man. He taught me how to fix an engine, how to shake a man's hand right, how to look somebody in the eye, stand my ground in a fight. But the biggest lesson wasn't spoken, it came from watching him survive, watching him get knocked down and still get up every time. There were bills he couldn't pay, dreams he had to let go, but he never blamed the world for the storms that came and went. And even when the weight got heavy, even when the road got long, he kept showing up each morning like the struggle made him strong. The years passed quickly, the seasons changed, but his quiet strength still remains. I'm the son of a broken man, raised by calloused hands, learning how to keep moving when life don't go as planned. Son of a broken man, and proud of where I stand. 'Cause sometimes the strongest lessons come from a broken man. Now I see his reflection, looking back through my own eyes. Every scar, every lesson, every sacrifice. And if I ever have a son, I hope he understands the strength ain't found in perfection, it's found in doing what you can. I'm the son of a broken man, and that's a badge I wear, 'cause broken doesn't mean defeated, it means you chose to care. Son of a broken man, and now I finally see the man I wanted to become was standing right in front of me. The sun drops behind the farmland, the evening settles in, and I thank God for the lessons of a broken man. There's a road outside this town nobody drives after dark. It winds past the old church here and the graves beyond the park. The locals got their stories about shadows in the mist, about voices on the wind, and names that still exist. I used to laugh at all of it till one cold October night, when I saw something glowing beneath the pale moonlight. Rows of silent headstones standing underneath the sky, and scattered through the darkness with those cemetery lights. The wind stopped blowing, the night stood still, like time itself had lost its will. Cemetery lights burning in the distance, like forgotten souls still searching for existence. Cemetery lights shining through the rain, whispering old stories. I walk between the headstones, reading dates carved into stone. People with their own dreams who once called this place home. Farmers, soldiers, preachers, lovers buried side by side. 1,000 different journeys ending underneath the pines. And I found my grandfather's name covered in years of dust. And suddenly those ghost stories felt a little easier to trust. 'Cause memories never vanish, and love don't truly die. Maybe that's what's glowing in those cemetery lights. The moon hung low, the shadows grew, and every grave felt somehow new. Cemetery light burning in the distance, like forgotten souls still searching for existence. Cemetery light shining through the rain, whispering old stories and calling out my name. Maybe they ain't spirits, maybe they ain't ghosts. Maybe they're reminders of the people we miss most. Maybe every light is a memory refusing to fade away. A silent kind of promise that some things still remain. Cemetery lights no longer fill me with fear, 'cause every glowing flicker means somebody still here. Cemetery light guiding through the night, teaching me that love survives long after goodbye. The dawn broke through the darkness, the stars began to fade, but the cemetery lights still lingered in my mind. I left that town on a cold black night, dust on my boots, blood on my pride. Thought I could outrun every mistake I made, leave my sins buried in an unmarked grave. But every mile marker whispered low, every back road carried what I used to know. The ghosts I made kept riding shotgun, and the past kept loading another gun. I'll change my face, change my ways, tried to disappear in the better days. But some things follow like a falling rain, and one thing never forgot my name. The devil still knows my name, still calls me when the midnight wind blows, still remembers every broken promise, every dark road nobody knows. I may be stronger than I used to be, but some days never fade away. The devil still knows my name, and he's got nothing new to say. I've stood in churches, I've knelt and prayed, tried to rebuild what my anger betrayed. Put down the bottle, put down the fight, learned how to sleep through the longest nights. But temptation waits like a fence line flame, patient as death and twice as tame. Watching from shadows beyond the light, waiting for one wrong turn tonight. I ain't the man I used to be, say. I don't fear him like I did before. I've seen what survival is for. Every scar carved into my skin reminds me where I've already been. He can knock, but I won't let him in. Can't sell a soul that's already been tested. I walked through fire, crossed that line, and came back with what's left of mine. The devil still knows my name, but he don't own my soul tonight. He can whisper through the darkness, but he can't kill this light. Every mile I've traveled proves I survived the worst I've seen. The devil still knows my name, but he no longer controls me. The wind still howls through the pines. The night still carries old flames, and somewhere in the dark, beyond the county line, the devil still knows my name. Midnight settled on the graveyard like a blanket made of smoke. The iron gate stood open and the silence never broke. The moon hung over marble, casting shadows long and thin, and every stone looked like a story about where a life had been. I wasn't there for ghost hunting or chasing some motel. I came because the noise of life had finally grown too loud again. So I walked between the markers, reading names I'd never known, wondering how many dreams were buried beneath each weathered stone. The night felt endless, the world stood still, and every heartbeat echoed across that lonely hill. Midnight among the tombstones, where the living meet the past, where every breath feels precious, 'cause nothing here can last. Midnight among the tombstones, underneath the pale moonlight, learning more about living from the silence of the night. One stone belonged to a soldier who never made it home, another to a young mother who left this world too soon. There were names nobody visits, flowers faded by the years, and some are standing there alone, made my problems disappear. 'Cause the bills, the fights, the worries, the things I carried every day suddenly seem smaller than the lives that slipped away. The dead weren't speaking loudly, but the message still rang true. Every second that you're given, here's a gift handed to you. The cold wind whispered through the trees, and every shadow moved with quiet ease. Midnight among the tombstones, where the living meet the past, where every breath feels precious, 'cause nothing here can last. Midnight among the tombstones, this forgotten place, to remember life is fragile and time can't be replaced. The clock keeps moving forward for every soul alive, and one day we'll all become stories told beneath these skies. Midnight among the tombstones, and I finally understand the value of tomorrow is found in where we stand. Midnight among the tombstones, as the eastern sky turns gold, I leave with less fear of dying and a stronger grip on hope. The first bird starts singing, the darkness fades away. I walk back through the iron gate, ready for another day. These roads know every secret, every promise, every lie, every dream that left this town and every dream that stayed behind. My grandfather drove this highway in a truck older than the sun. My father followed after him, and now I'm the next one. The tires sing the same old song against this cracked black line, a melody of sacrifice passed down through blood and time. Every mile marker tells a story, every field remembers names, and every generation leaves a little piece behind the same. The dust may settle, the years may roll, but this land still beats inside my soul. Blood runs through these roads like rivers through the land, carrying the hopes and scars of every working hand. Blood runs through these roads from the past into today, and every mile I travel keeps their memory alive this way. I remember countless summers, bonfires lighting up the sky, old men telling stories about the years that passed them by. Some spoke of hard winters, some spoke of wars and pain, some spoke of lost love and learning how to stand again. The town ain't rich in money, but it's wealthy in its soul, built by generations who refuse to let go. Every church, every barn, everywhere the beaten sign holds pieces of the people who gave this place their time. The wind still whispers their names at night, and every sunrise keeps the spirit alive. Blood runs through these roads like rivers through the land, carrying the hopes and scars of every working hand. Blood runs through these roads from the past into today, and every mile I travel keeps their memory alive this way. Maybe one day I'll be gone, another name carved into stone, but I hope the roads remember that I love this place is home. 'Cause nobody truly leaves the ground that shaped their soul. A part of us stays forever in these roads we used to know. Blood runs through these roads, and through my veins the same. Every lesson, every sacrifice still burns like a flame. Blood runs through these roads and always will somehow. The past keeps riding with me every time I leave this town. The headlights cut through darkness. The moon hangs bright and cold, and I keep driving forward where the blood still runs through these roads. There was a time I'd break my fist against walls and never fall back. Every word felt like gasoline, every wound became an attack. I carried anger in my shadow like a loaded 44, looking for someone to blame for every scar I ever wore. The nights got darker, the road got long, the whiskey only made it worse. I was writing my own destruction like a preacher reading the curse. Then one cold night by the riverbank, under a blood-red harvest moon, I realized the thing I hated most was turning me into a tool. So I gathered every memory, every lie and every scar, and threw them into the darkness. Beneath the dying stars, I fed my rage to the fire, watched it burn into the night. Every grudge, every demon, every reason I used to fight. The flames danced higher and higher till the ashes filled the sky. I fed my rage to the fire and finally learned how to survive. The smoke rose up like old regrets, drifting where they belonged, and for the first time in forever, the silence didn't feel wrong. I still remember every betrayal, every knife behind a smile, but revenge ain't worth the chains when you've carried them for miles. The world didn't suddenly change, the pain didn't disappear, but I stopped letting anger be the loudest voice I hear. Some battles end with gunfire, some battles end with grace. Sometimes freedom starts the moment you stop feeding the hate. I fed my rage to the fire, watched it burn into the night. Every grudge, every demon, every reason I used to fight. The flames danced higher and higher till the ashes filled the sky. I fed my rage to the fire and finally learned how to survive. The river kept on flowing, the moon kept hanging high, and somewhere in the crackling embers, the old me said goodbye. Not every ghost was buried, not every wound was healed, but the man who walked away that night was stronger than he revealed. I fed my rage to the fire, now the flames no longer call. What once felt like a prison isn't holding me at all. The scars still tell walked away from the fight. The ashes drift across the wind like memories passing by. I fed my rage to the fire and left it with the night. Blue lights flashing in my rear view, dust rising off the ground. Another long night on these back roads with trouble all around. The county knows my history, every mistake I've made, every fight, every bad decision, every debt I've never paid. But the law can't chase the demons that keep knocking at my door, and no badge can stop the memories I've been running from before. I spent years blaming everybody for the mess I made myself, till I learned the hardest prison ain't built by anyone else. You can lock a man in chains, you can throw away the key, but the battle that I'm fighting lives inside of me. No sheriff can save me, no siren in the night, no judge can write a sentence that makes everything alright. No sheriff can save me from the ghosts inside my head. The only man who can change this life is the one these boots have led. I've crossed rivers in the darkness, I've slept beneath the stars, trying to outrun my reflection, trying to heal invisible scars. The whiskey gave me excuses, the highway gave me room, but neither one could fix the damage growing in the gloom. Then one night beside a campfire, watching sparks climb through the sky, I realized all these years I'd been living a lie. 'Cause freedom ain't escaping and redemption ain't a place that both found in the mirror. When you finally face your face, the road gets lonely, the truth gets loud, and eventually a shadow finds you in the crowd. No shadow can save me, no siren in the night, no judge can write a sentence that makes everything alright. No sheriff can save me from the ghosts inside my head. The only man who can change this life is the one these boots have led. The moon hung over the pines like a spotlight from above, and for the first time in forever I stopped running from myself. The storm was still raging, but something felt brand new, 'cause the hardest outlaw to conquer was always me and not you. No sheriff can save me, but maybe that's okay, 'cause strength is built from facing what you feel along the way. No sheriff can save me, but I finally understand the road to redemption starts when a man becomes a man. The blue lights fade behind me, the dawn breaks through the gray, and I keep driving forward toward a better day.